Good evening and welcome to Mountain Bears. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you this evening?
My dad used to have a quote. He used to say this when he walked into church sometimes. I'm in the mood, someone better fire up the organ. I'm going to have a little bit of fun. First, I'm going
Oh,
to tell you what I've done. Let's talk about what all is going on today.
Well, today apparently Aeson decided to try to become Batman.
Oh, I'm quite sure I'm Batman at this point.
Yeah. So he volunteered to take over 2 sets this weekend.
A couple weeks ago.
Well, he said it. Well, actually, no, it was last week. I thought.
No, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago. We had a meeting,
Okay.
took photos, went over dates, and he's like, I'm going on vacation in June, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, not a problem. I'll cover those sets. I'll go ahead and take them. It ain't going to be no big deal. I can remember how to DJ by then.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So anyway, he said this and went da 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 da, and then all of a sudden it struck him like yesterday.
No, like 3
Oh no,
o'clock this morning when Zell messaged me and goes, do you have your set ready?
the oh yeah. I volunteered to do that.
That.
So there's been a fun flurry of activity today.
Uh-huh.
Uh credit card notwithstanding. Uh
It's withstanding. It's
swipe.
brand new and shiny.
Yeah, thankfully it showed up in the mail. So
Yeah.
he's because he's had to pick up some things like DJ software,
Mm-hmm. Music.
music,
Possibly a
licenses.
headset.
Yeah, gotta grab a headset. And let's see, what was the other one? It was very vital to this. He
Streaming
owns a
service.
radio station. Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a
Yeah.
broadcasting service now.
Yeah.
All of which has led to a moment of like Swedish chef level DJing. Da-di-da-di-da, da-di-da-di-da.
I know
And
the songs. It isn't
trying
like this is new music.
to put it together.
Right.
Like he's known what he wants to do. He's been clear on that. It's just okay. Now I have to grab the software, make the software do the thing. How do I make the software broadcast?
Mm-hmm.
What do I have to do for that? And then the software requires a license in order to broadcast. So it's been a flurry of activities.
Yeah. So this morning, while I was panicking, one of my baristas that I love, like she's like one more cheesecake to being upgraded to anti-barista, and I swear I think I can figure out how to do that. Anyhow, sends me this graphic and says, "Isn't it sad?" And it flew over me like a fucking fireball of like, oh honey, we're only scratching the goddamn surface on what is sad in this damn state.
Mm-hmm.
Now
Yeah.
this is how Aeson's mind trickles. I go back, I remember watching a TikToker 2 months ago complaining about WSAZ.
Okay.
WSAZ covers parts of Ashland and Kentucky, and apparently she's in that area. And it was filled with nothing but from political campaigns for our possible elected governors to be elected. Unfortunately, both of them I don't like.
You're right. Yeah, we don't have good choices.
Were they talking about the level of education in the state? No. Were they talking about infrastructure? No. Were they talking about financially reinvigorating the state? No. Were they talking about something to do with some of southern West Virginia? You know, the section of the coal fields that is like you can't even sell your house to get out of there. No. They were talking about trans rights. Less than 1% of the freaking population.
Which, I mean, let's not like necessarily throw them out with the bathwater. Important issues. Unfortunately, the discussion, it keeps ending up at like, how can we make this situation worse for them?
Well, not only that, but how can we take their children away from them? How can we make sure they can't interact in schools? How can we not let them use a public restroom? How can we not let them be themselves?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We have spent 2 legislative sessions, it's 120 days on our taxpayer dollars for the House to debate which bathroom I need to use.
I mean, it's a moment.
Yeah, it's a moment. It's a moment. It's a moment when we start looking at data rankings. Our fine state of West Virginia is ranked 46 overall in the United 51 states, counting the British Columbia. Mm-hmm. Its category ranks are ridiculous. Crime and correction, 21%. Economy, 49%. Number 49. Education, number 48. Financial stability, number 18. They got a large war fund down there. Healthcare, 48. Infrastructure, 50. Meaning there's only one other state in this country that has worse infrastructure than us. And two of our states have active volcanoes in them. National resources, 39%. Opportunities, 16.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like, we're high in opportunity, we're high in fiscal stability, we're high in crime and corrections. Okay. I'm interested, like, let's look at the positives first. We are number 44th in corrections outcomes, meaning that when we send someone to prison or through, legal correction, our correction system ranks number 44. But apparently we're number 9 on public safety, so that averages out to 21. Like, just think about that for a second. We are number 39 in juvenile incarceration. As in, we have 116 for every 100,000 juveniles incarcerated. 331 of every 100,000 are adults are incarcerated, and we have a 278 violent crimes per 100,000 residents. All right, so that's what that one looks like. Let's see now. Fiscal stability. Let's see what we got. So we're number 4 in short-term fiscal stability and number 31 in long-term fiscal stability. So yeah. Because we are very high on liquidity. very high on liquidity. Now, as for opportunity, we are number 47 in economic opportunity, but we get bumped to 16 because we are number 4 in affordability. And ironically, and I want to know where this number comes from, our equality is number 3 in terms of opportunity. So the equality subcategory informs the best states for opportunity rankings and the overall best states rankings, and evaluate the opportunity states offer citizens of different demographics. It compares the participation rates of men and women in the labor force. Have you noticed this whole state's too damn broke to live on a single income? And examines gaps between their incomes. We're all not making shit.
Uh-huh.
The subcategory also considers the difference in unemployment between people with disabilities and those without, along with gaps in educational achievement, income and employment between non-Hispanic whites and other racial or ethnic groups. We're a 98% white state, as I last saw. Like, it's got to be hard to track that.
Yeah.
The comparisons reveal wide disparities within states and among them. So, yeah, that's kind of a... Yeah. How we ended up number 3 in equality, I think, is we broke the formula.
Exactly.
Because here's our neighbors. Vermont is number 1 in equality. Maine is number 2 in equality. New Hampshire is number 4, and Oregon is number 5. So again, I think that's a metric that doesn't quite do what you think it does.
Exactly. It doesn't do
Like,
what you think
it
it is. And it's not true equality. It's comparing men and women in race. That's it.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, and disability.
Oh, and disability. It doesn't look. You notice what they leave out of there.
Mm-hmm.
You notice what they leave out of there. You notice that, in this state, it is legal to fire somebody, and they try to make it not only in this state, but override any city that had an equality bill. In this state, it is legal to fire anybody that is not, that you have a strong religious feeling about,
Mhm.
aka bigot burgered. You can kick them out of the house they're renting. You can, make their life a living hell if you want to. And people wonder why, in this state, most gay men in their 30s already own their home. People, why, in this state, most gay men are in business for themselves. It's because they cannot guarantee that they're going to show up to a job.
Which, I mean, also gets into that's if they're still here.
Right. That's if they're still here.
Because that's option 2 is get out.
Quickly.
Which, gay, straight, bi, trans, whatever you may be, breathing, most parents in West Virginia are really adamant about getting their children out of the state
As fast as possible. It used to be get them out of the mines, get them out of the mines, don't care, get them out of the mines. Ship them off to school, ship them off to Army, ship them off to Navy. This is why West Virginia has the highest population in the military.
Mm-hmm. Opportunities to get out.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying, that's what happens.
Point blank.
Yeah, Brenda says quite a few I know have moved out of state. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And I will bet you that most of them that have moved back fit the Aeson and I model of their parents got sick, injured, one or both. became sick, injured, or otherwise incapacitated.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that seems to be the number one leading reason people move back here.
Right.
Is something goes wrong and they become a family caregiver.
Right. Why? Because they're single. They don't have family. They don't have children to try to figure out what to do. So they become the instant caregivers.
Mm-hmm.
And instantly begin putting their safety at risk in this state. Instantly put their work stability and their financial security at risk in this state.
Well, and for many, also end up in the closet. Like, they leave West Virginia, they leave the closet,
Mm-hmm.
they realize in moving back that it's and back into the closet.
Right.
I'm not saying it's not better.
Mm-hmm.
It's better. But for most,
Yeah,
it's a very common situation.
it is, and it's a very
for
cantankerous situation.
ailing parents and end up in a closet.
Right. And then you add in the other things that occur in this state that is ridiculous, and why we keep voting against this state when so many blue and gold running around this freaking state all over the place, ridiculously so, like cars painted that level. Your car you're going to be driving is gold and blue. You have half your wardrobe is gold and blue, but you turn up at the polls and you vote against the state every time. It's got to be, well, we've been together almost 8 years, so it's got to be 7. I was working in a little store in Charleston. An old friend of mine stopped by because he was in town for business. Joe Daddy. Caught up with him. He says, "Oh yeah, I'm going down. I'm going to look at some sites in Mingo and Wyoming County." I said, "Do you have a tour guide?"
Do you have a 4-wheel drive?
Oh, the state picked out this person to take us, And I'm like, "You're going to have to build from the ground up." And he's like, "No problem. We're used to having to build and equip, and because they have to have sign and everything else running." They're like, "No problem. We're used to having to do that. We want to come to West Virginia because there's so many abandoned mines that we can build into."
Great for data centers. It is natural geothermal climate control. Like, that's it. That's the whole, like, data centers love the concept of abandoned mine shafts. You're already in the ground. It's geothermally heated and cooled.
Right.
And so you keep a nice, stable, consistent temperature, and half the work's already done if they need to actually dig deeper to do some heat exchangers.
Right.
Like, the work's already done. It didn't make sense to me for the longest time. So why in the hell would you want an abandoned mine? Geothermal. Well, biggest cost of a data center. One of the biggest costs of a data center.
Right.
Next to running the machines is dissipating the heat of the machines. And sometimes it can be the largest cost.
Right. But not only that, but his thing was disaster control.
That too. Also a good place to not die in a disaster, as in you can set off some bombs around that.
Or tornadoes or earthquakes or hurricanes won't affect these mountains.
Yeah. Like, the last place you want to put a data center is like Orlando, Florida. Miami, Florida. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is like Hurricane Alley. Like, no, don't. Like, they're pretty. They're pretty. It's a lovely place to work. But the reality is that for the safety, it's not great.
Right. It's not great. The reality is that he came back to the store to see me in 2 days and looked at me and goes, "Are you okay? Do You need a job to get out of here.
Uh-huh.
Why? He went to Wyoming County. He drove around. He looked at the place. He says, I can't move workers here.
No.
Yes, Anna is upset. Daddy isn't home yet.
Aw. But no, it's a big part of the reality is you're not going to be able to hire people here.
Right.
I'm there just are not enough college educated data people.
Well, not only that, there's
For
not
a
even
large
enough
facility.
people to like run the basics. Like, and what he meant was there's
There's no physical location to live.
exactly
Do you want to live an hour and a half from your office?
on a 2-lane road.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That may or may not and again, it's like for all the natural disasters you can protect your data against.
Mm-hmm.
The question becomes now, how do I get employees in and out?
Right.
Because that'll be a legitimate reality.
You know, only that,
Like,
but how much am I going to have to pay to get
mhm.
people to move here? How much am I going to put my employees at risk because women don't have health care? We don't have health care. We aren't safe. You know, company goes and rents a house, moves a guy in, he brings his husband there, 30-day eviction notice.
Mm-hmm.
These are the realities of what companies are looking at when they move here.
Well, and but it's also starting to move into the category. I'm afraid we're going to start seeing it as like GoDaddy Township,
Mm-hmm. Right.
or what? Insert your data center.
Mm-hmm.
Is a revision of what Mines did initially.
Mm-hmm. What
Like,
every company did initially. But
if you start
no.
looking at the names of towns in West Virginia, you can easily start connecting them to different
Uh-huh.
coal companies.
Right.
Because it was literally unspoiled virgin land.
Mm-hmm.
They cleared it, built a mine over here, a general store over here, some tract housing over there,
Right.
and boom, there you go. You have a town, and then
Right.
named it, Pocahontas
Right.
after the coal company.
Right.
Like, that's it. That was the whole, like, it wasn't very deep, you
Right.
know.
But at this point, and he's like, I'm gonna have to abandon this project and keep looking.
Mhm.
I don't know why they even invited me here.
Trying to stimulate some economic activity, not realizing you have to at least get to the point that you have basic infrastructure, solid basic infrastructure like roads and bridges, and capable
Mm-hmm.
of decent transport, as well as if you're trying to attract tech businesses.
Mm-hmm.
You also have to have at least some bare minimums of data systems and internet access, which we're just starting to fill that gap.
Mm-hmm.
But then you also have to look at the people you would be importing,
Mm-hmm.
and what do we have to offer? Like, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just saying, if you want to open a data center
Mm-hmm.
in Mingo County, where are these people going to live? Where are they going? Where are their spouses and their kids going to work?
Mm-hmm.
Where are they going to go for entertainment or shopping, or what do you do?
All right. But even more than that, they got to realize that these companies, big companies, are social companies.
Mm-hmm.
They
And
make
West Virginia, very
very
difficult.
non-social. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very difficult place to live.
Right.
Like, we kind of joke about it at times,
Mm-hmm.
and believe me, I experienced some frustration with it, because I run a tech business in West Virginia. And the frustration I have is we have 4 seasons of weather and all of it knocks out power and internet.
Right. But no, what I'm talking about is social companies, social awareness, social movement. So, you know, every one of these companies have a diversity officer on their board. They're going to vote down every time they look at West Virginia because of how this state is ran.
Mm-hmm.
And it's ran by your votes. And you keep voting against what will bring this country back, you know, this town back, this, you know, the state back. The other thing is they keep doing this bullshit. There were so many other important bills on the menu this year.
Mm-hmm. Legislative slate was full.
Yeah.
You chose
To debate a bathroom.
Yeah. Probably the longest debate of bathroom bills ever had anywhere.
Right. Then we've got other stupidity going on. We've got school boards losing their fucking minds. We've got, you know, people literally not getting, you know, you made a graphic a couple years ago, and it is somewhere in Facebook land, and I really think we should just put it to where we run it every legislative section on how many buses of coffins we need in this state with the current state of things.
Like it's a little it's a little wild. And then we do things like we vote to remove Confederately named schools. And then we turn around and vote to put their names back.
Right. Right.
And we're calling it our heritage.
Right. Well, you know, and, you know, Brenda says they vote to bring big coal back. They're not going to bring big coal back, and it isn't because the coal business isn't there. No. The problem is big coal doesn't need big people.
Nope. As in, it does not need a lot of employees anymore. We have automated this. We've mechanized this. Yeah. There are still coal jobs. Don't get me wrong. There are coal jobs. There are coal miners. This isn't your grandpa's or great grandpa's version of coal mining. The industry has changed significantly.
Right, but not only that, but, you know, we go and place tariffs on our number one buyer of coal in this country. Right.
Yeah, soft coal, more pollution type. They prefer the words metallurgical. That's basically what that means.
Right, but you know, every president keeps dropping tariffs on China, on India, on all these countries outside. Guess who's buying West Virginia coal? But you keep electing people that want to drop tariffs on them because it makes good news for election season.
We reduce taxes.
Yay! Oh, we drop personal income tax. Oh, we're paying $12,000. The amount you're giving to a single mother in Wyoming County, $12,000 a year, you're handing out to move remote workers in here. They can't live here. They can live in Charleston. They can live in Fairmont. They can live in Morgantown. They may get through and live in Huntington, but they're going to need a gun.
Yeah. I mean, again, it is not that the entire state is uninhabitable.
No.
There's pockets.
Yeah.
The problem is you keep trying, or they keep trying to incentivize people to move here. You're not moving people into areas because you can't. No one can stay. It's not going to work.
Right.
That actually need people and need industry. You're patting Charleston, Huntington, Morgantown, like the areas that are close enough to civilization.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you're moving them within 20 miles of a Starbucks.
Right.
And that's not a big map in West Virginia.
No.
Like, it's not that big of a map. But I'll guarantee you that's basically, if you want to know where you're moving people into West Virginia at,
Mm-hmm.
within incentivization,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be within 20 miles of a Starbucks. Just,
right.
That's not a lot of the state.
No, it isn't. But that's the truth.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? You're basically insulting them by giving them a year's worth of welfare to move
Mm-hmm.
here. They're not going to come. And if they do, they aren't staying more than 5 years, and they're the hell out of here as soon as they start seeing the election, as soon as they start seeing these political campaigns. Why? Because the grandfather's trans, the godmother's trans, their uncle is gay, and it's like, we can't come visit you. We're not going to leave Seattle to come visit you.
Mm-mm. So, and generally speaking, if you are from a larger area of the United States and you try to move here,
Mm-hmm.
and for those of us that have, again, this is the Aeson and Joe model. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I moved back here from Durham, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
He moved back here from Columbus, Ohio. These are major cities.
Mm-hmm.
I had things.
Mm-hmm.
I had lots of choices. I had opportunities and
Mm-hmm.
options. It kind of the running joke of Greensboro when I lived there for college was you had to be very clear when you said meet me at blank, because automatically there's more than one. There can be more than two or three. And if you don't clarify what you mean, you're going to have a very awkward evening. Because meet me at Starbucks has multiple locations. You can end up on two opposite ends of Greensboro.
Right.
It's kind of how that works out.
Right.
We come back here and it's like we got so excited we finally got a Starbucks.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Or a gym.
Mm-hmm.
Posted today, popped up on my memory feed. I was so excited that Active Fitness, my gym, they're fabulous. Go see Jeff or Jesse and get trained. Opened
They
up.
opened.
They
Yep.
opened. This was the gym I had in Columbus. Is it the same quality gym I had in Columbus? No. We don't have a pool. We don't have a hot tub. We don't have a steam room. We just now started group classes. There's no yoga workout area.
Mm-hmm.
Same gym, small, basic, very basic.
And
But I still was excited. And I'm like, I read that and I was like, oh my God, this is how small base stuff comes. If
we
if
got
I
a
want to
gym.
we got a gym.
We got a
If we
Starbucks.
want to go and take a night out, we're 2 hours away. What is it? No, it's an hour and 20 to Charleston.
Yeah. Something like that. Hour 30 if I drive under the speed limit.
Yeah, hour 30. Or 2.5 hours if we want to go to where I feel comfortable at, which is the older bar here. And that's for a night out. Like, this is something
which
that
we don't take.
Yeah, we don't take. Why? Because it's a hotel and driving down and more expenses. It's not just like, oh, let's take $50 and go to the bar. They got a show tonight.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Well, because at this point, because there was even a point a few years, like several years back, you with a previous partner had the moment of they took off to the bar, meaning they left for Columbus.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a doable thing for them.
Yeah.
Just middle of the night, heard that, like, a performer was going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And just, okay, I'm going to the bar. Bye.
Right.
Because at that point we were still at, like, inflation hadn't killed us yet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they had enough economic viability to go do that.
Right.
Now this is like, a good $50 to $60 in gas, plus another $50 for the bar, plus a hotel room,
Mm-hmm.
plus
Breakfast in the morning, dinner
Mhm.
that night. Like, it is a event to do something I used to do on a Friday night
Mhm.
without a split thought and drop 20.
Yeah.
If that. Sorry,
Mhm.
I'm cute.
Well, again, $20 to $30 a person,
Mm-hmm.
you can have a good evening out. I went and bought groceries, gas, and cigarettes this evening, guys. Legitimately, this is what I purchased. I spent $100.
Mm-hmm.
That used to be called date money.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that used to be more than my budget, not only just for a date, but a
Mm-hmm.
really good date.
Right.
Like, we ordered wine.
Mm-hmm.
I got 2 frozen pizzas.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, this is where we're at right now. And so the idea that and wages aren't keeping up, pay isn't keeping up,
Right.
incomes aren't keeping up, to allow people to just even leave here now. It's like, once you're in, you're in.
Yeah. You're stuck. You're
Mhm.
stuck dealing with this crap. You're stuck dealing with people that do not know the issues. You're stuck. I had a conversation with a local politician. The conversation was over a really simple bill. It's a non-discriminative Crown Act. It basically says if I want my hair down to the floor in dreads, I can have that.
Mhm.
Simple. Freedom of choice, freedom of expression,
Mhm.
freedom from discrimination.
Mhm.
Our city can't do it because we don't have a human rights council.
Why do you,
What?
don't get me wrong, I'm not ever gonna actually otherwise say these words. Why do you need a human rights council? In terms of that bill, why do you need?
Mm-hmm. Because of the way the bill is copy and paste, it is written for a human rights council. Beckley has one, but we don't.
Oh, good.
And we don't have the people that could form it. And I looked at him and says, "Have you drove through Oak Hill? Like, do I need to take you on a drive through Oak Hill? Do I need to take you to the hair salon? Do I need to take you to the body shop? Do I need to take you to the construction worker? Do I need to take you to another hair salon? Do I need to take you out to the restaurant?"
Mhm.
The few working at the restaurant probably won't have time because they're working 3 different jobs because they're trying to get a mortgage.
Mhm.
The rest of them probably can't at this point. Form the council. Well, that makes us, liable, and we don't know how. And I was just like, this is not rocket science. I literally
No.
felt like it was 1995 again, and I was talking to a state senator. And this is just after Pennsylvania passed its marriage law. And I said, "So do you think we'll ever have gay marriage in West Virginia?" "Oh, I don't think so. We don't need it here."
Oh, you're wrong. Oh,
"You're
you're so,
wrong."
on so many levels. But no, there is a lot of I don't even know how to best describe it to someone, because again, this isn't the don't move to West Virginia, like, advertising special. I
No,
like
this is the
I
do the
don't
fuck
like,
better, West Virginia.
yeah, this is the West Virginia, get it together. Because it's very much one of those moments that there's just kind of this heteronormative white suburban, like picket fence mentality.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, usually in a trailer park, but mentality
Mm-hmm.
of assimilation or get out.
Right.
Like, even what we're saying right now, the response most people have to that is, well, go somewhere else. And it's
Right.
like, how many times do you throw away the problem?
Right.
Like, how many statistical outliers do you throw away
Mm-hmm.
before you realize what the real problem is?
Yeah.
Because basically, a lot of times what happens in West Virginia is we just keep throwing away the outliers. And this is referencing statistics, that you can get numbers to say wherever the hell you want them to say. If you throw out the outliers, oh, that's bad data, that's bad data, that's bad data. If you cherry pick it enough and you clear off all the outliers, then yeah, your data says, oh, we don't need gay marriage. We don't need to consider other religions. We don't need to consider other races. We don't need to consider a lot of things. And that's what West Virginia keeps doing.
Right.
Is because all of us outliers that are here and try to express the concept, this isn't working for me,
I'm paying twice the taxes.
get out.
Right.
That's what we get told.
Mm-hmm.
If that's what you want, go somewhere else. If that's what you want, go somewhere else. If that's what you... And it's like, this isn't going to work forever.
Right.
Like, you should already be realizing this hasn't been working for almost 40 years.
Yeah.
Like, that's how long, like, my lifetime is roughly how long the state hasn't been working.
Mm-hmm. It isn't going to keep working. And that's the bigger issue. You know, am I happy to live here? No, not really. Do I love this state on the other hand? Yeah, I grew up here. I love being able to walk into Kroger's and know every person there. I love being able to walk into a business and go, hey, John, come here. I need such and such. What can you do for me? Because John went to school. His daddy worked with dad. You know, Joe's watched me pull stuff point blank. Southern boy deals because I know them.
Because you know people.
Yeah.
Well, and it is considered one of the costs associated with moving out of your hometown.
Right.
Is you lose some of that interconnectedness.
Right.
When you move, like you basically move away from your friends, your family, everyone you've known, and when you get to this new location, you kind of end up paying the newbie tax.
Mm-hmm.
Because you don't have a friend to call. You don't have people who know who the hell you are or care.
Right. You know, we're going on 3 backwards generations of lawn people because of the quality of health care in this state. That's what I mean by backwards generations. 3 of them. Just examples of how crazy the state is. Wow, it's beautiful, and there's a lot of trekking, and there's a lot of trails, and a lot of rivers, and a lot of hiking, until the people start making decisions that benefit this state. It's going to continue to be number 50, number 51, number 51, number 50, and keep falling.
Like, we can't get there alone.
No.
Like, you and it kills me because it's one of those, this is a beautiful state, and I think large parts of it need to be protected. You know, environmentally protected, from development protected, Like we don't want to build up all of this. Like
Right.
we've cleared a lot. We've cleared a
Yeah.
lot that's sitting idle.
Right.
You know, between idled mines and idled, you know, with like you name it, we've done a lot.
Mines, out of land. You know, they
Like
finally
we're
put a
probably
solar farm in Beckley, and they're fighting regulations of Beckley to get it moving, to begin producing a new electric, to begin producing new jobs in this state. But we've got strip mines, mountains balder than Joe's head, ready for it, ready for wind. There are places in this state that I don't care. It could be the hottest day of the year, and wind is moving. Take a wind mine, windmills, like up at Mount Store.
Yeah, the wind turbines.
Yeah.
But no, what I was getting at is we have plenty of land to develop on. We have plenty of dead, decaying cities, towns, barely even a population center at this point, from their heyday. Like this was all cleared land. This is all technically improved land, though at this point, I'm sure those improvements have gone the way of the dodo. But there is land sitting here that can be redeveloped. Like we should have the ability. But I don't think we have another 40 years of trying it the way we're trying it, which is we're going to put all of our money towards coal and supporting coal and tax breaks for coal. And then hope to, cash some big ass severance checks for coal that are dwindling. And then turn around and, the worst plan we ever had was we'll make it a retirement state. Y'all don't know retirees very well, did you?
Right.
Because the things retirees are looking for, we have them, but they're not really income generators. People on retirement don't spend a lot of money. Like it's a very fixed life expectancy. This is roughly 20 to 40 years of a fixed income. They already own their home, so you make that sell maybe once. Then they go into a nursing home, which, side note, like our flippin' coal industry, is entirely owned outside the state.
Yeah.
Is there a nursing home left that's still owned inside the state? That literally the money going into the nursing home and to its profitability as a corporation is actually held in West Virginia by a West Virginia owner, having a positive economic impact on the state of West Virginia. Because I doubt there is. I don't think we have a single one left. I mean, we can't even seem to manage this in terms of cemeteries even.
Well, I have a question for you. I need you to define that a little bit differently. Do we mean a resident or a government body? Technically, is guaranteed to be part of the state.
Okay.
Lincoln Hospital, a long-term care nursing facility, is owned and operated by the West Virginia Department of Health and Human Resources. And it provides 24 non-skilled nursing care since 1979.
Yeah. Okay, so technically we have one. And that's if they're not spending all their money outsourcing all of the actual management.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like they're just arrow marking it and private equitying to some other company Like, you do the linen service, you hire the nurses and staff it, you
Right.
do this, you do that, and all of it ends up exiting the state.
Mm-hmm.
That it's just a line item of taxpayer money going out the door.
Right.
Because in addition to the cost to be a patient,
Mm-hmm.
most of whom will probably Medicaid qualify,
Right.
you're also
Right.
supplementing and throwing money at it.
Right.
Yeah, colon football, that's the two big things we got. Got that in abundance.
But otherwise, no. Genesis, Stonewall. Genesis is owned by a company up in Ohio. Stonewall is owned by Heartland. Heartland is based out of well, they're a stock company, but they're based out of Tennessee. St. Mary's in Huntington has the highest performance, but is owned by CMC. Cedar Ridge is owned by another company, Genesis.
Then there should be Stonerise somewhere in there. That's another
Right, that's
outside.
Stonewall. That's a subsidiary brand.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's like, so we made ourselves a retirement state, and again,
I'll be right back.
pretty much all of the nursing homes are owned by companies or interests outside of the state. So yet again, we're not actually keeping the money here. Other states are benefiting, not West Virginia. So we went through a whole program of development to attract this state to retirees. And then not only did we benefit private companies that are outside of the state, we literally locked ourselves into things that support that.
Right.
So if you want to know why there's a damn Tudor's Biscuit World on every fucking corner,
right,
it's because seniors like eating there.
Yeah.
We have a Cracker Barrel for every major city.
Right.
Because seniors like eating there. Like, this is what we did.
Yeah.
Like, we entertained
and
little
the
old
latest
people.
announcements.
Mm-hmm.
The announcements. LG brings 275 jobs to West Virginia. Governor Justice announces, this big investment for 7 new and existing companies in West Virginia.
So are they making chips or chemicals?
Walt Fuel Cells, Alcon, Clean Seas, plastic remanufacturing subdivisions of chemicals, Gustamp, international group dedicated to design, develop, and manufacture metal and automotive products. Hello, Toyota's new name. Mountaintop Beverages, your beverage facility. Pure Watercraft, boat facility. SMR Technologies, a manufacturing aircraft de-icer and helicopter float in-flight refueling and more. More chemicals.
Yeah, it's
We didn't learn our lesson.
Like, basically what you're seeing companies do is move to states like West Virginia that are so desperate for economic development they won't even consider the environmental impact.
Right.
Because the idea that you might move 275 people here and or hire some, you dump whatever you need to dump.
Right.
You dump it into a river, you dump it into the air, whatever you want to do. We're good with that. Dow Chemicals has been living with that for decades.
Well, not only that, but I don't know what the Freedom whatever took out the city of Charleston for over a month without water for monitoring their plants.
Mhm.
What does the governor justice do? He just goes right behind and drops investment money into other companies to do it. Right, but this time it's Nicholas County.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is
Oh,
what we're doing.
jobs.
Yeah, the almighty grail of jobs, which again we need. Like, we're desperate.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, put West Virginia in some fishnet and a tight skirt and put us on a corner. We're whoring ourselves out,
Right.
and we're not paying attention. Like, you can drive up in a rusty Chevelle with, like, free candy vibes all over you. We'll get in.
Right. And but he's a mind boss, and that's the problem. Is this state keeps voting for mind bosses? We even had one that was a freaking felon run for governor, and made it to the primary.
Because he was a former mine boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did war? What did the men die on that mountain in war for?
Mm-hmm.
What? And that's a serious question.
I don't know that we know at this point.
Well, I don't think that we see the reflection of it at this point.
No.
D-Day came up. It was real sweet. Little town. They put up flags of all the veterans. It was very nice. There is at least one flag on every telephone pole on Main Street. And granted, Main Street's about 4 miles. And a telephone pole goes about every 20 feet. That's how many were trying to escape during World War II from this state.
Mm-hmm.
And Korea and everything else. When we stop sacrificing our youth, when we stop sacrificing our state, when we stop sacrificing our people, and start actually using our funds for us, and bringing in stuff to build this state back to where it was in 1960, when the president literally stopped here before he went to Dallas.
Yeah. Well, and I think the bigger overarching thing is, and I know we're kind of, it's Pride Month. We're on Mountain Bears. You'd kind of expect us to have a Pride tie-in, and if that's not clear, it's that we're getting rid of people. That's what West Virginia is really good at. We export people. We're one of the biggest people exporters in terms of states. We have negative population growth between the number of people who die here and the number of people who get the fuck out. The state is dying. Will you please make choices that acknowledge the rest of humanity instead of isolating from it? DEI is not your problem.
Right.
Like, it is cute that you think that the most frightening thing in the world is increasing taxes on people that make over $400,000 a year in a state where we're not even close to that.
But you know who is? The people are already taking from the state. They're easily making over 400,000 a year. Yeah, it'll affect jobs. It'll affect jobs, but not yours.
Yeah. Well, and more to the point, I think it'll also, and we don't expect change overnight. We don't. There is not one magic bullet that you can fire and fix it.
Right.
But a comprehensive strategy that puts everyone at the table.
Right.
Everyone.
Right.
Everyone at the table. That starts trying to move the needle. Like, it'll create a synergy.
Right, but
We have a lot to offer.
It also starts with one cup of coffee. Get to know the purple-haired one you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Get to know the new neighbor that moved into town. The way we used to do it as West Virginians.
Mm-hmm. Like this was like, everyone talks about like Ellis Island and New York being, this giant melting pot. West Virginia, like, do you not understand? Like, give us you're tired, you're hungry, you're huddled. Like, that's sort of how West Virginia and the coal industry ran through this state.
Right. Which
we imported people. We imported people.
Yeah, that moves over to the immigration issue that I hear people whine about all the time. One, I will say this with the utmost respect. Migrant workers, during the winter, I'd love for you to come up to West Virginia. There are a lot of homeowners up here that need paving done, roofing done, factory, a lot of work to be done up here. Please come up and work, because Lord knows we can't get the teenagers up here to do basic lawn mowing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But this freaking country, this state itself, was literally immigrant workers.
Mm-hmm.
Scotch, Irish, Italians, to get the railroad in here that runs around this state all over the place, that's now being turned into trails. They ran newspaper ads offering, I think it was $200 to move here to work for the railroad from China because of their dedication.
Well, and here's the thing, is from that, we know how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we've done this once. Like, West Virginia 100 years ago was a bunch of trees and mountains, and that's it, and a few people.
Mm-hmm.
We made it happen once. We can do it again.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually have to start moving the needle towards it. We have to take the effort to make it happen. So Brenda says, with as low as our population is, it would be beneficial to vote for the things that benefit all our West Virginians, not just certain race, religion, sexuality. Exactly.
Right.
Like, that's where we're at. Like, that's where we're at.
Yeah. That's where we're at. That's where we're at, is we need new ideas. I swear, if it says incumbent, go to the next option. I don't care if the next option is a monkey. And what I mean by monkey is one of those lovely monkeys that, put a diaper on them and, they run around like Michael Jackson had. I would take that over my current representative in this state. They would make better voting choices.
Mm-hmm. And probably less embarrassing.
Yeah. The governor's dog does a better job at governing and inspiring people than he does. And he's running for Senate. God has helped us.
Pretty sure Baby Dog at least pays her bills.
I'm sure she does. Do you know that it was very interesting? The federal government was missing the same amount of money because West Virginia supposedly misspent it as the governor owed in taxes.
Is it a coincidence? Yes.
Is it a coincidence?
But it is a coincidence. It's just one of those moments of like, isn't that interesting?
Mm-hmm.
That one person could owe that much money
in back taxes to the state, and we keep writing him checks.
Mm-hmm. And now he wants to be our representative in federal government.
Right. So
okay.
That, the assessor won't go and take the Greenbrier from him because that would look embarrassing to him.
Yeah, you should probably leave the state senator alone.
Mm-hmm.
Looks bad.
Yeah. Oh, and also,
Oh, we got taxes in other states, I'm sure.
oh yeah, somebody wants to become senator. Point blank, it isn't to benefit the state. It isn't to bring jobs to the state. So if you wanted to bring jobs to the state, he would have walked into the sitting of the House and said, "Knock this shit off. We have a budget to fix, and after we get done fixing a budget, which they didn't even fix the budget, they passed what's called a slim budget. It's the bare minimum. Mm-hmm. You guys are going to get to vote on these issues, and I don't want to hear a word out of you Republicans. You're going to do what those other ones say you to do, because we need jobs here now, and these companies are social companies."
Mm-hmm. It is. It's.
Yeah. They wouldn't be closing schools and building children penitentiaries. They would be walking and going, "All right, you got 10 kids in here. You better bring those test scores up." Mm-hmm. All right. So let's find if you're an asshole, because I'm already pissed.
Oh, okay. So we're skipping over there. Yeah. Alrighty. Am I the asshole for making a joke about not being gay? First real post on this account, I think. I only really read Reddit posts from YouTube, LMAO. So yesterday, my friend posted me on his Instagram story under a stick that said gay friend appreciation. I'm not gay. But I am a person who is very frequently confused for a gay man, even though I'm not. Something about me not acting manly. I don't know. This is a very common joke among me and my friends. In response to this, I reposted his story saying, "Guys, I just found out I'm gay. When were y'all gonna tell me?" The joke being that I'm not gay, but I found out by this post that I'm reacting with shock and confusion. I thought the joke was pretty straightforward. Unintended, I see. However, I got a lot of messages from people like, "Wait, you're gay?" And I have to explain it's a joke to them. After that, I posted another story saying too many people didn't get the joke. Friends, I'm not gay. In response to this, I've gotten like 7 messages calling me a queer baiter, and a couple of people said something along the lines about me using Pride Month for clout. I've explained the joke to them, but only 2 of them understood, and I've lost 2 other people as good friends due to this. Part of me wants to think they're just being super sensitive for no reason, but the other part doesn't really know. Am I the asshole?
I don't think you're the asshole. However, I think your friends need socked in the face.
Yeah, it's the internet. Brenda says it's the internet. Someone is going to be upset no matter what you say. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you know, we could go with the old line here: if you can take a dick, you can take a joke.
Well, now you should be able to.
It's the motto I live by. It's the motto I live by. Like I've never had problems necessarily with a gay joke. I don't like it when you make jokes about people about things that literally, you know, demean, demoralize, and harm them. Right. But that's not going on here. Like I'm like the OP is in on the joke. But then it does become kind of a moment of we do have people who will try to use like Pride Month and Pride related activities and Pride related events as an opportunity for their brand.
Mm-hmm. Hello, Google.
Yeah. So I'm a little torn. I don't think that necessarily applies if you're sitting there and 1, you're losing friends. But 2, like what kind of like becomes a little difficult if you don't know who someone is. Like, did you, in addition to losing a couple of good friends, did you gain like 14,000 followers?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think that would be a reasonable accusation that you were queer baiting.
Mm-hmm.
in that situation. Um,
See, I think that's a misuse of term.
I think someone is being overly sensitive.
Yeah.
To people, at least. I think they're being a little overly sensitive. I think this is a inside joke that just didn't translate to social media.
Right. But also, I think that, his best friends need socked in the face. Point blank, walk up and just sock him right in the face.
Okay.
Because, one, this is bullshit. Any other time, kind of cute, not right now.
Yeah.
Two, you don't out somebody. Three, and the more important one there, you don't do that. You could have put his job at risk. You could put his house, especially, let's say he lives in West Virginia. You could have put his job at risk. You could put his house at risk. You could have put his position in church or whatever at risk from doing this stupid shit.
Well, but it sounds like he's also in on it. Like, I don't think this is just at
his
him.
boss in on it?
Pardon?
Is his boss in on it?
Well, but what I'm saying is this sounds like he also participates. As in, this may be something that, like, that kind of juvenile humor moment where it's no longer funny. Like, it lost its humor a long time ago, at least for most people. Where, you just sit there and attack each other like, oh, you're gay, blah, 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 blah. And I don't think he's just, like, the target. It's kind of sounding like I participate, like I do this too. It is sort of how the first part reads. I'm gonna go with everyone's shitty here.
Sounds pretty good.
Do what now?
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, because I don't think you're innocent in this. I don't think it was just a joke that didn't translate well, bad. Like, know your audience, dude. Like, that would have been funny amongst your group of included friends on the inside joke. You moved it beyond that, and kind of put it in a, wait, what? For other people. Not only in the initial post that tagged OP, but then OP's repost. It's not that too many people didn't get the joke. It's that it wasn't funny.
Right.
And sometimes that's a distinction, because I'm going to assume this Redditor's got to be like late 20s at best. At best. For this to still be funny to them. And their friend group. Like, they're all, they cannot be any older than their late 20s. And I think that's probably pushing it. I'd say they're probably early 20s at best. I think you have to learn what's not funny to joke about. Just because it's just not funny. Like, even if no one's hurt, even if no one's taking it seriously, even if no one feels demeaned or insulted or whatever, and y'all all understand, whatever, there comes a point you have to know when that's just an inside joke and it's not funny to other people.
And Facebook is not inside.
No. Like, when do you remember when you were a little kid and people would tell you to use your inside voice? That's called a group or a chat. That's your inside voice. When you repost it, wherever that may be, Instagram in this case, when you repost it to the wild world of social media, that's not your inside voice.
Right.
So now you've brought other people into this, and yeah, it does kind of start becoming a weird, confusing form of queer baiting. And this wasn't, especially it was poorly timed, which again, you're not thinking of because you're not here.
Right.
So at some point, I think you just have to learn.
Right.
So I'm going to go with everyone's shitty here. Yeah, everyone's shitty here.
Okay. I'm going with everyone should hear punch your friend in the face.
You know, maybe learn and grow as a group. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm non-violent. I don't think it's punchable per se. I think it's definitely okay, this is your wake-up call.
Right.
Grow up.
Right.
Just grow up. Like, you don't have to feel horrible about yourself. You don't have to, like, I don't know, buy 10 pride flags and say, 20 yes, girl, as penance. Like, you don't need.
Please. No, we're not there. No. This is $20 out of your paycheck for the next 2 years to the Trevor Foundation, and I don't know, 60 days at the homeless shelter.
Well, Brenda says, ooh, punch your friend is an option. No, I don't think it's punch your friend level. Like, I think it's just, this is the point you need to have the, like, grow up.
Yeah. Punch your friend in the face on a lie.
That's it. Like, you don't have to feel horrible for the rest of your life. No homosexuals were harmed.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I grow up. Just grow up. Just realize that, like, this is it. You're done now. Like, it's not funny anymore.
Right. All right. So the poll is up.
Yay. Did you add a punch your friend in the face option?
No, I did. That is Aeson's official.
Okay. What?
Yes.
Okay.
So on to poly advice. This one,
yes.
I almost filed under Are You an Asshole, but we decided to go with something else.
Meta used a recent $20,000 loan to my Hinge partner to then ask to veto me. My 40 female recent parallel poly dynamic started out of a love triangle with 3 monogamous people who then tried to share my Hinge partner, 48 male. It's been relatively okay for a few months up until yesterday. My Hinge needed a new car and my Meta offered to loan him the $20,000 without interest. Sounds generous, right? Well, within 24 hours of that loan being used to buy a car, she then decides she doesn't want her Hinge partner to see me anymore and told him he has to choose. What the fuck? What a manipulative tactic. I even offered to reloan the $20,000 to my Hinge to let him know he isn't accountable to her, and he said it's not about money. So now I sit and wait for a few days to find out my fate. As much as I try to be fair, work through my own emotions, etc., my Meta pulls the stunt and it shows me my love isn't safe in poly as long as there are other partners who don't support it. Sigh. Looking for advice and support, I love my man so much and want a future with him, even in a poly dynamic. If he vetoes me, I can't imagine I will ever forgive him or ever consider poly again. Yeah, Brenda's like, oh, we need the Are You an Asshole options for this one.
All right, so we will be putting out, is the Meta an asshole or a calculated bitch? After, and I'll go ahead and end this poll so I can start the other one.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like Hinge partner should be. I mean, 24 hours. That's you knew what you were gonna do before you even loaned the money. Like like it's carrot and stick. It's total carrot and stick. Like here's something you want. Now here's what I want. So it was not a no strings, no interest loan. Like the interest is high. I mean, there's another option here that I don't know that OP is considered. Is this really what Meta did, or is this how the Hinge is playing it? As in, is he choosing to go with her because she gives bigger gifts?
All right, so I designed this poll.
Okay.
Choose the following option.
Oh, Lord.
Is the meta an asshole, a calculated bitch? It reduces. Is a get out now, run while you can, or too good at the game?
Like, I don't even know how to vote now. Like, well, there's so many variables here.
Don't get.
Okay.
Okay. Because this is how it should have been handled if you're acting as a poly unit. $20,000, you've got 5, I've got 8. Okay, that's 13. You've got 7. We buy the asset together.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's one way to do it. But I think it comes up probably more often than not.
Mm-hmm.
In poly situations that you're probably going to have one member of the polycule
mm-hmm.
that may have higher income and assets than the others.
Right.
And I think that in this situation, one of two things effectively occurred.
Right.
Well, but that's also where I get a little tongue-tied. Is because that's if everything OP thinks occurred the way it occurred.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a whole alternative scenario that's what your partner said happened. Right. That may not be the reality.
Right.
As in, they either are using this like I'm poly until it's like ooh money.
Right.
Which
that's not poly, that's gigolo.
Yeah, like I went to the highest bidder.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of brings in, was your meta actually even a meta, or was that the nice titling of an affair partner
or a primary partner
who basically bought your partner out from under you?
Right.
Like literally bought him out from under you.
Right.
That's all alternative, like kind of tinfoil hatty scenario. Now, if it is what you said, and like it really is the meta who threw down this gauntlet after, here's the money, buy the car.
Mm-hmm.
I love and care about you, and I just want to make sure that you have a car.
Mm-hmm.
That then turns into, oh, now we need to renegotiate our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And effectively, I just gave you $20,000 in the form of a new car.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really have the ability to say no.
Right. See, and that's why veto power is so toxic.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in an equal hinging or parallel relationship.
Mm-hmm. Like, this is never supposed to happen.
Right.
Now, that does bring up a different scenario, which is, was it actually a parallel polydynamic, or is that just how that started? Because, see, they're saying that it became a parallel polydynamic out of
From
a
a
love
love
triangle.
Right.
I'm starting to wonder if that's really what happened.
Right. Ooh. Okay. That's interesting.
Oh, do we have updates?
Well, no, we've got a vote, and I'm trying to figure out how to calculate it.
Brenda really did vote for all?
No.
Okay.
Like, I'm trying to figure out which one to count, but I'll count all of them.
Okay.
Okay. So, with that, let's go ahead and clear our polls, and then we'll wrap this up.
Yeah, it does sound like cowboying, Brenda, or
Yep.
cowgirling in this case. Because Brenda says, sounds like they use the poly relationship to cut in and get the other guy. Yeah, I'm thinking that you have like OP who's sitting here all like love and light and the world's a beautiful place and I'm fine to share my partner and I'm good.
Right.
Like I have a happy little worldview. Who was dating someone who, and that again, that's where I just kind of go, if they were in the same boat, they just got cowboyed. Well, cowgirl in this instance. Or they were literally getting cheated on all the way through this, and it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I don't really care. Like as long as they don't kill each other and put me in the middle, like I'll screw both of them and like look at lucky me. I mean, kind of. And then the meta is just over here like biding their time. Like I will tolerate this until I have the opportunity to sever and run.
Right.
And like you're coming with me.
Right.
Like I've cut you from this herd. See, she can't take care of you. I've gifted you.
Right.
You can't say no.
Right.
Yeah, he didn't give you the option for all of the above.
Well, I was looking at the chat and was going for that one. But anyhow,
yeah.
My view is this was just handled wrong. Because this is a hinge partner. It's kind of like if I needed a new chair. You and Invisible could go into it together. Instead of just one doing it. Yeah. Now, granted, we handle our finances weird to the poly world.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah. I ain't got time to nickel and dime shit.
Well, fair.
All right, so first up, are you an asshole for not punching your friend in the face when he made a very untasteful joke?
Well, technically, it's
go for it.
Well, technically, it was, am I the asshole for making a joke about not being gay?
Right. The answer from our audience is you're a dill pickle.
Yeah. I'll take it.
Okay. So on poly advice, I decided we'd do a poll in it because I'm like, this is calculated. Calculated very differently. So going with both votes, it's all the above. She's a calculated bitch that's an asshole. Get out now, run while you can, and your meta was too good at the game.
All right. I mean, I hate that for OP. Can I just say for polyamory? Like, this is trashing polyamory for them. I'm not even sure you were ever actually in a poly relationship. Or if you were, it's
It's one of those very
like you got
wide,
the
like,
worst version of it.
well, they're on the tips of the umbrella. On the tips of the polyamorous umbrella is where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, this is the reason I never like parallel relationships. Because if your metas aren't interacting, there's a whole secondary friendship there
Mm-hmm.
that isn't being played out and it causes more issues. That's my opinion. All right, so let's go ahead and bounce this over to you.
All right. So, yeah. We have come to that point in the show where, of course, we want to thank our Patreon sponsors, Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda, Joan Owen, Shannon C, Shannon D, Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, Tracy Van, Caitlin Bell, and Devin. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become a Patreon sponsor and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com.
Yes, and we'll see you Friday at 5 to be looking at the psychic planner that's in its final form.
Maybe Sunday at 5?
Sunday at 5 would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good night,
We'll see
y'all.
you. Night.